Where all my Billy Clan members at? Watching for the days of fashion, tuning in from day to day. Wondering what Billy doing next. Fashion, money, stacks and stacks. Go get y'all, go y'all. Back it's day 27. Day 27. Day 27. Oh, what's this? Oh, well, this here is the start of the show. Okay? This here is the start of the show. You know, we're going to be talking about what it does and how it pertains to fashion and creating things. But before we get into that, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay? Take care of that checklist for me. Okay? There's a list. Make sure you're checking it twice. Lesson 3 of today is the importance of pressing. I ain't talking about press. Claudia don't need more press. We're not talking about that press. Okay? The press we're referring to is using this handy dandy iron. Okay? This handy dandy iron to apply pressure onto clothing, onto garments, fabric, to make everything much neater, smoother, complete, finished, clean looking. Okay? That's what we're going to be doing today. Now, what is pressing exactly? Like what is pressing? Pressing is much different from ironing because ironing is a back and forth motion, while pressing is more of an up down motion. Up down, up down, up down. All I do is win. And if you're going there, put your hands in the air, make them spit out. Okay, back to it. So, up down motion, I mean by you place the iron down onto the fabric, you lift up, you press in another area, and applying pressure. That's the name press. You're applying pressure with your body weight or with a pressing tool. You know, that's pressing hams, clappers, things like that. Just applying pressure. And this pressure is applied to finish the seams, to make the seams kind of melt into the fabric, to set them. It's also used to install our fusible interfacing that we talked about the other day. Pressing also helps reduce wrinkles that are visible to the naked eye. Typically, by using the pressing method onto fabric, the wrinkles are eliminated. So it gives it a nice, crispy, clean look to it. It's clean, it's finished, and the garment is ready to be given to the consumer or given to the retailers for the consumer to buy. Why is that important? Why can't you just use something else? Why can you not just skip over this particular step when making clothing? If you skip over the pressing step, when it comes to your seams, for example, if your seams are not pressed open, if they are not butterflied open, because your fingers can only do so much, but if you apply that iron, you'll be able to get it flat. If you open it up on the inside, you look in your clothes right now, you look at the seam, it's like, oh, this seam is lifting up, it's wrinkled, it's folded awkwardly. That will be because it was not pressed properly or pressed at all. And also, when you don't press, the clothing is just very wrinkled. I mean, think about as soon as you get it off of the boat. Okay, you have the fabric is kind of like wrinkle free, but it still folds in it because of that fabric being in that boat and folded up for so long. And when you take it home, you lay it out. Okay, you get it cut somewhere somehow. Like when you're like turning the fabric when you're cutting out the fabric or just positioning your patterns and your marker and your weights onto the fabric. Sometimes the fabric distorts, sometimes it moves, and it can engrave that wrinkle pattern into it. Okay, so now that's another reason. There's folds and wrinkles in it. Now, small wrinkles, but there's still not folds and wrinkles in the fabric now. When you're sewing, when it requires so much of moving and maneuvering and all that, and by the time you get done with the fabric, especially if the fabric is very prone to wrinkling, then the fabric is just going to be a wrinkled mess, and we don't want that. Okay, when it comes to aesthetic, you have to think about, like, when you're making your clothes, how do I want my clothes to be presented to me? Do I want my clothes, as you're making, do I want my clothes to look like this? If your answer is no, figure out what you could do to make your clothes look more appealing. If you ask yourself, yay, do I want my clothes to look like this? And you say yes, then you go, okay, I did what I need to do. But is there something else, some other layer of protection that I can use to make sure that my clothes are viable. So when it comes to pressing, you have to make sure that the setting is correct. All kinds of fabrics have different settings. Typically, the thinner fabrics, the more easily prone to burning fabrics, like our synthetics, those are going to be on low settings. The fabrics that can take a little bit more heat than that, but they still have to be low, you're going to put those on the medium levels. On the thicker fabrics or heat has to really penetrate those fibers. That's where you put it on a high heat, okay? And for example, our cottons and our wools and our tweeds and our flannels, those type of fabrics will be particularly on the high heat. Our chemises and the polyester and nylon, those fabrics will be on lower levels. That's a really important distinction to make when you're pressing your fabric, because it's much more than just, oh, we have to just get this finished. Because you need to make sure that your fabric is not burning. You need to make sure that your fabric is strong, the fabric is strong enough to handle the heat that is being placed on it. And if you are unaware of what exactly the level is, you can take a swatch of the fabric and place a pressing cloth over top and press it at different levels and numbers. If you see that it burns after certain ones, then you know not to put the iron at that level and beyond it. You have to be the number before that and below. Okay? So that's really important to keep in mind. That you're on your care label, your clothes will tell you what level to put your iron, either low, moderate, or high. But you know, when you're making clothes, sometimes that's not necessarily on there. I mean, it's on, the instructions are on like the bolts, but like you're not taking the bolt home. 9 times out of 10, you're not taking the bolt home. Okay, so you have to do your research on how fabrics react in heat, in certain levels of heat. Now it is time for the quiz. What is pressing? What is the basic definition of pressing? If you said to get wrinkles out to set seams or to apply fusible interfacing, you are correct. Question 2. What will happen if we do not press? If you said that it will affect the quality and aesthetics of the garment or the fabric, or it will just be super wrinkled, you are correct. True, false. Temperature doesn't matter when it comes to pressing as long as you get wrinkles out or set the seams. If you said false, you're correct. I also wanted to talk about something I forgot to mention. When we're working with our power fabrics, like our velvets, it's very important that you make sure that the fabric is being cut in the certain direction. Okay, so like if the garment you want the pile to be facing down, you have to make sure that when you're cutting it out in that pattern piece and you put it up against yourself, the pile is going in a downward direction. But you also want to make sure that the other pieces that you cut out are going in that same direction. And also, those are really sensitive as well. So you need to make sure that you use a pressing cloth. A pressing cloth is just like a piece of muslin or some cotton fabric that you put over the piece of fabric or like over the section that you're pressing to just protect that heat. Because sometimes, fusible interfacing and the resin gets on the back of the iron, and we don't want that to transfer to our garments, especially if it's a lighter colored garment. It's going to be visible and it's going to be very difficult to get out. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Our last question: true or false? Wrinkles detract from the overall quality of a garment or a fabric. If you said yes, or if you said true, you're correct. Y'all are getting really good at this. Like, I asked y'all questions from like 2 lessons ago, and y'all were just bam, 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 bam. I was just like, good God. Like, they say experience is a good teacher, but I might think I might be a good teacher too. But on a serious note, I thank y'all for watching this video. Make sure y'all tune in to day 28. We're keeping it going. We have like about 12 more days after tomorrow. We have 12 more days of 40 days of fashion. I'm not even going to sit here and act like, oh my God, it's been easy, it's been jolly, because I'm not going to lie to you. Okay? I'm going to keep it a band with you. There'll be some days where I'll be like, you know what? I don't even feel like doing a video today. But I have to do the video. I have to see it through. Okay? I have to see it through. So those of you who are learning from this, I appreciate you for watching and tuning in daily or just tuning in every now and then. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. But I'm done rambling. I'm gonna talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.